Hello everyone. Today I hope you're ready for your close-up, because it's time for GIJoe. Hey everyone, I'm Jeff. Of course I am the Xennial. This is another reaction to GIJoe, A Real American Hero. Oh, it's been a minute since I've done a GIJoe reaction, and I am thrilled to be getting back to them. I took a little break over the holidays, but you're probably watching this in the distant future and it doesn't matter, so that's fine. But today we're going to be watching an episode that I am really looking forward to. This is Season 1, Episode 19, Lights, Camera, Cobra! Kind of a cool looking episode. I don't recall it, but I have a feeling that once we get started on it, I will remember. I do know that this has something to do with making a GIJoe movie. Classic 80s fare. Although, you know, it's kind of one of those things like, do you want a movie made about your semi-classified government, military cross-agency group? I don't know, maybe. Like, you think about like something like Top Gun and how incredibly successful that was for pushing recruitment into the U.S. Air Force. But then again, a lot of movies are just silly nonsense. I guess it's all kind of fair game these days. But in the world of GIJoe and Cobra, GIJoe is a known entity. We saw that in the 20 Questions episode where that reporter was doing, Hector Ramirez was doing the story on the Joes. Are they worth the money that we're spending on them? Clearly they are, because they're like regularly stopping Cobra from taking over the world. I would think that would be like just a given. Like, it's okay, we can spend the money on GIJoe. Anyway, regardless, maybe a movie would help up GIJoe's PR game. And I've always been saying that GIJoe needs better PR. Like, in universe is what I mean. I don't think we're getting that in today's episode, but I am excited for what I do think we are getting, which is going to be a fun Hollywood romp with the Joes and Cobra. If you are interested in skipping right to the reaction, I think that sounds fine. Just feel free, look down below into the description for the chapter times. As always, jump right ahead. That is not a problem with me. If you also want to see where you can watch this episode without me yapping in your ear, that's fine. I'm just watching them off the Hasbro official YouTube channel. Or if you'd like to see the uncut, longer version of this reaction with more yapping, that's over on Patreon. Links are all down below to anything of pertinence for today's episode. But if you want to stick around with me for a little bit, we're going to just yap a little bit more, because I want to talk about the history of GIJoe today a little bit. So what I want to get to is I want to talk about the GIJoe movie, not the Channing Tatum movie or the one with The Rock, or even the GIJoe Real American Hero animated movie. No, what I want to talk to you about is the origins of GIJoe, the term, and the story of GIJoe, the movie. Those are things from the past. So I don't know if you know this, but I've been aware of this for a little while. The term GIJoe was coined by a cartoonist named David Breger, who was a private. And in 1941, he started this cartoon about a private in the army, and it became very popular, circulating around the camp. And then the army found out about it, and they were like, "This is great. We want this to be like official." So in like the Army Weekly, and then in the Stars and Stripes magazine in the 40s. There was a cartoon that was launched, a comic strip that was launched called GIJoe. And GI, which I always thought GI stood for General Infantry. GI actually stands for Government Issue, or I guess Eisenhower said that it just stood for general issue. It basically means like the everyman kind of a soldier. So that's what GI, like you're just a Joe. You're an average Joe, right? So that's what the GI Joe represents, the everyman soldier. So the cartoon strip, which I don't think was that funny, but was just sort of like insightful and sort of wry, you know. The cartoon strip sort of was about, you know, being in the army. Then the beginnings of sort of war movies, you know, like sort of one step past propaganda, like actually like Hollywood films were being made. And in 1945, like the war, I think, was still going on at the time. A movie starring Robert Mitchum of Night of the Hunter, Cape Fear fame. Robert Mitchum, very handsome man. And Burgess Meredith, who, of course, Burgess Meredith, I think most people probably know Burgess Meredith as Paulie from Rocky. But the Penguin, this would pre-Penguin. He would have been younger than that, I guess. Penguin in the 60s Batman show. So they were in a war movie called The Story of G.I. Joe. But that's the original G.I. Joe movie. So 1942 comic strip, 1945 movie to 1964 or 65 toy line when they made the original, you know, G.I. Joe, Man of Action, Hasbro toy line. And then, of course, Real American Hero was birthed out of the sort of the death and the revamping of that original 12-inch G.I. Joe toy line into the 3 3/4-inch, you know, response to Kenner's Star Wars success. And then the cartoon, of course, inspired from that toy line. It's all connected, everyone. It's all connected. So I just thought that was kind of interesting because I think that this episode is about someone making a G.I. Joe movie. Most likely, you know, I'm sure hijinks will ensue. Cobra will show up and whatever. But it'll be like inspired by the, you know, real world, like in-universe version of real version of G.I. Joe. So I'm hopefully looking forward to seeing some actor playing a version of Duke or Shipwreck or the Baroness or Destro. Certainly some buffoon of maybe a comedian that they would hire to be Cobra Commander. Like if you were in universe and you were casting a silly version of a version of G.I. Joe in I guess here's the thing, like how would you cast the G.I. Joe in the 80s if you were like, you know, imagine they were like real, right? I guess you wouldn't have all of the context that we have of the cartoon and like the specifics of their exploits, you know. But it's kind of like one of those weird sort of like I don't understand exactly the reality here. Like in Logan, when they start pulling out the X-Men comic books, you know, and you're like, wait, what's happening here? Oh, these comic books were based on the real world in-universe exploits of the X-Men. And then Logan's like, it didn't happen like that at all. You know, that's what I would imagine here. But I gotta think you get you get the like, you know, you get the Mel Gibson, you get Dolph Lundgren in there somewhere. You'd probably get you know, some not maybe too silly. I was gonna say you get like an 80s Robin Williams to be your Cobra Commander, but that's probably too silly. You'd want to make him a little bit menacing, right? And especially if you were in universe, you wouldn't be silly. You would think of him as like an actually a credible threat. People probably wouldn't be seeing his buffoonery on the world stage, right? Like most people in universe's experience with Cobra Commander is just him like showing up on their television screens and demanding that, you know, world governments bow down to him. Okay. I think it is time. Let's jump into this episode of G.I. Joe, Season 1, Episode 19, Lights, Camera, Cobra! Hello to everyone who jumped right to here. Thank you for joining me. Not a problem that you skipped all the yammering. I can talk a fair bit, so that's okay. So just as a reminder, we're going to be watching season 1, episode 19 of GIJoe, A Real American Hero. That is an episode called Lights, Camera, Cobra, and something I forgot to mention in the earlier part. This is another episode written by the famed Buzz Dixon, who has already brought us 2 episodes so far. The first one being 20 Questions, one of my absolute favorites. I think was a really fantastic episode. And the second one, Haul Down the Heavens, which was a little more mid, but had a really interesting science fiction sort of premise here. This, I think, is going to be a different style of episode. The Joes are going Hollywood here. Let's see what we have in store for us as we learn about the story of G.I. Joe. As usual, I will be starting and stopping to chit-chat, but we like to establish what's going on in the episodes, and then we'll talk about it as we go. Oh, G.I. Joe. Never gives up. He's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe. Who are we going to get in today's episode, do we think? Any guesses, people? Zartan? In disguise. That's my prediction. Because if anyone's going to foil a Hollywood set, it's got to be someone theatrical. Right? Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, Joes, let's see what's up. Cobra, always up to no good.
We don't need the villagers. Eliminate them.
That's not. What are those tanks? These are not the right vehicles. What are these? What's going on here? It's the movie. It's a bunch of actors playing the Joes and Cobra guys. Hey. Snake Eyes don't use a javelin. Come on.
Snake Nose, you have it.
Snakes don't have this.
Oh, moron! You almost broke my back. You'll hear from my lawyers about this. I'll sue.
Myron, I'm sorry. Honestly, I...
Cut!
Myron?
Cut!
Oh.
No. It's all wrong. It's all phony.
Well, of course it's phony.
Look at this
it's
director.
A movie.
My public demands authenticity, Marty. I won't give them anything else.
George, authenticity costs money.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop and say, okay, obviously they're making a movie about G.I. Joe. I love these guys here. This is like this Dom DeLuise looking dude, very crony-ish. I wonder if he's the agent. But this director is like, and this music going along with him is boom, it's like 70s, like, heavy bass stuff. This guy is priceless.
Cost. Get me real G.I. Joes as technical advisors and real G.I. Joe equipment, or I'm walking off this picture.
And real equipment. Cobra in their classic desert base once again. I thought they got destroyed. Do they keep rebuilding it?
Captured Firebat hits. Commander, your hood. Put it on.
What is this we're learning?
Stomach to watch me eat, doesn't it, Destro?
The captured Firebat is a...
What is that? What's happening here? Destro knows what Cobra Commander really looks like, and it's horrifying.
Miracle Motion Picture Studios.
That's interesting.
What? That Firebat's automatic homing device could lead the G.I. Joe straight here.
Don't blame me. Your elite troops allowed the plane to be captured. I recommend the plane be destroyed immediately.
So you can sell us a new one? Ha! It costs $15 million to build that homing device. It would be cheaper to steal the Firebat back. We'll use the ultra-secure frequency to summon Zartan and his Dreadnocks.
Sorry, are we implying that every one of the... London. Are we implying that the fire bats cost $15 million a piece?
Buzzer, the vault.
Right.
This is nice. Okay. Like,
All yours.
like the Dreadnocks are just in the middle of some random, like, you know, personal business.
Assist Operation Sartan. I have a mission for you.
We're going to make
Oh
a
my goodness.
movie.
Okay, well, Zartan is right. That's good. Looks like they got away with some of it. And you know what's funny? Like, okay, wait, I want to see which Joes are involved here, but then we'll take a break. Sorry.
And not a moment too soon. That sailor's driving me crazy.
Is he hitting on her?
Hi.
Okay. We're gonna take our break now for a second here, just to sort of level set. Where are we? Okay. Movie being made about G.I. Joe. The director is up in arms. He's got to have real equipment, real advisors from the Joe team. Got it. And I guess this seems like a lot of advisors. You've got Junkyard and Mutt. Yeah, Blowtorch, Recondo. Who's that? Is that Dusty or I can't tell who that is beside Recondo. Covergirl and Shipwreck. Okay. And meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, Destro and Cobra Commander have decided we need to get the Cobra Commander's personal fire bat back from this Hollywood set, presumably. And so they're sending Zartan and the Dreadnocks in to reclaim it. Got it. I like that they had some sort of slightly off-kilter actors playing Duke and Cobra Commander. It's like when they put Christopher Lee in episode 2, you know? Like well-respected elder statesman of the acting community. And then you just maybe they should have done what they did with Lee and just CGI or get a body double to do his stunt work and action choreo. All right. So are all of these guys going in to be advisors on the film?
Marty Goldblatt, producer of the G.I. Joe story. Pardon me if I seem a little surprised. I guess I expected more in the way of spit and polish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, Duke wanted all the oddballs out of his hair for a couple of weeks.
The oddballs. Oh, okay.
Hot dang, look at that! Hollywood!
And can I just say, I love a Shipwreck story
Hey,
when
do we get
Holly's not
Shirley?
in it.
Come on, no time for that, Shipwreck.
We're way behind schedule. In fact, we're going directly to our desert location.
Sorry,
The
Shipwreck.
government has loaned us this really marvelous Cobra equipment. I want this to be the most realistic picture ever made.
It's this 70s
Well,
music,
it'll
man. I
never
can't
look
get over
realistic
it.
without official G.I. Joe smoke shifters.
Smoke shifters? Smoke shifters. He can get them in Hollywood. Give him money and a car. Say, Marty, what is a smoke shifter anyway?
Torch.
Come
Follow
on.
Shipwreck and Cover Girl. Keep them busy while I prepare a little surprise for our other
I mean, I do
G.I.
want to
Joe
see Shipwreck and
friends.
CoverGirl on the town in Hollywood.
Into the
Yes.
desert.
So they're just here to, like,
Cobra. Their gear
foil the
runs
plans.
rings around yours.
Just because you look like Zartan doesn't mean you gotta think like
That's
him.
so ballsy. I love it.
This is just a piece of trash.
I'm not letting some play actor put down my unit and its gear.
Then prove it's better. With a midnight race.
Nice. I mean, definitely against the rules. Not the kind of thing that the Joes would be allowed to do, but, you know.
We better get back to the set. Later, after we show this bozo who's got the best equipment.
Oh, you guys are gonna get wrecked. And your hubris, Recondo.
It's the real Zartan.
Yup. Oh, dang.
Shipwreck!
I mean, he could be dead.
Shipwreck!
Who you calling a cheat?
I think I found him.
Shipwreck at a bar fight in a pool hall. It's everything he ever wanted.
You're Shipwreck. You would be in the sleaziest hole in Hollywood.
Shut up and fight!
Yo! Bigger bikers than Torch even, yes.
Shipwreck trotting offshore, but I wouldn't have thought it a Dusty and Recondo.
All right, quiet on the set.
Buzzer, drop that tower right on the director. Ripper, you take care of the last.
See, that's as someone who has worked on film sets a number of times. If you guys don't know, sorry, I was a television producer for a number of years. But as someone who worked on sets, you know, there would be a lot of people around. You wouldn't just be able to take a bike and just like zoom off somewhere. Even on a night shoot in the desert, this is a big budget production. There would be a lot of people around watching everything. Okay, let's keep going.
I'll plant some explosives and rip this place apart.
And action!
Uh-oh. I mean, here's the thing.
Those aren't actors. Those are Dreadnocks.
Interesting. Oh, so here's Zartan. Oh, he's gonna blow up the... Is that the fire bat? Ooh, that was gutsy, man. Very gutsy.
Oh, what happened? Zartan and his lads.
We were wondering, could you come bail us out?
Bail you out? Why, you useless, no-good parasite?
Touchy.
Sorry, who was he calling?
I guess the movie's not going too well. Why in the blue blazes didn't you tell
Oh,
us Dusty
my.
and Recondo were missing?
Yeah, 'cause you were in jail, barnacle brain.
Sorry, guys. We've got to borrow your flight pods and a rattler to look for our pals.
Tell all the starlets I'll be back to sign autographs.
And so are those real trouble bubbles? Like they've been captured in battles or whatever, and now the Joes are just like lending them out?
Zartan to Cobra Commander. Come in, Cobra Commander.
I love the music cues in these shows sometimes. It's so good.
Failed to destroy the firebat,
Watch who you call fool.
and Torch was captured.
Captured?
We got to spring him. How can you stand this heat?
Be mellow, man. The heat ain't so bad if you don't move. Coyote.
Oh no.
You and your big mouth.
Dusty and Recondo versus a
Flying
pack
over
of
the
coyotes in the desert?
No job for a
That's what I
sailor.
want.
Well, what have we here? Come in, cover girl and blowtorch. I found him. Yeah! Beat it, you crazy coyote!
Go find a roadrunner somewhere. Oh! He did the roadrunner noise. Classic Shipwreck.
We found Recondo and Dusty. Cover girl and blowtorch are taking him to the hospital and... What? Junkyard?
Oh no!
Avast, you slime back! I've had my
I love
fill
that
ya.
Shipwreck is so like he just dives right into battle. Like I know that he can be I know that Shipwreck can be like irresponsible sometimes, but like let's be fair, like he's a guy you want at your back. He's a guy that you want on your side in a bar fight, right? Like yeah, he's real rough around the edges, and he's like, you know, kind of like a cheesy ladies man, and like cracking wise all the time, doesn't respect authority, but you know, in classic sort of like he's a rogue that you gotta love kind of fashion. Whenever Shipwreck is on screen without Paulie, I gotta say I'm a massive fan of him.
Goons are gonna hurt yourselves traveling alone like this.
Oh.
The
Uh-oh.
automatic homing device will deliver the firebat to Cobra headquarters while we rescue Torch.
Firebat Threats approaching! Defense positions!
Or maybe he'll still be knocked out. Oh, he is. Wah wah.
Excellent. Sergeant,
Oh, damn. What a way to wake up.
Okay, landlubbers, you're all my prisoners.
So, sorry, I was going to say this before. I was just thinking it, you know, they need to, in this third act, bring the Hollywood into the action here, right? Because right now it's been a good backdrop. But if you got it, you got to use it, right? I wish CoverGirl weren't such kind of like, you know, I don't know. I don't want to say stick in the mud, but like, why is she like the responsible one? You know, you've only got 3 women, her and Lady J and Scarlet. And like so often they make the women like, you know, mom. She's the mom of the group, you know. It's a trope and a stereotype that I don't love from older fare, you know. Oh well.
Expect me to talk, Cobra?
No.
I expect you to die?
Expect you to fry.
I was afraid you'd say that.
That's a line from James Bond.
The game.
Goldfinger, I think.
Oh, look out.
Or maybe Man with the Golden Gun.
I hate dancing without a partner.
Sir, a message on our ultra-secret frequency from the GIJoe force.
What?
Oh.
This is the GIJoe force in Hollywood, calling Cobra Commander.
They can just do that?
Is about to tell us the location of Cobra headquarters.
Send us Shipwreck, or Torch is gonna look like a pincushion.
We can't risk his revealing our location.
Why wouldn't they?
Okay, quit padding your part.
So much for my brilliant Hollywood career.
I just hope that we fooled him.
Oh, interesting. And they're just bringing him back. They're like, okay, here's a prisoner exchange.
Where is Torch?
You'll get him after you turn ship.
See, here's the thing. Cobra Commander would not be the one doing this. Like, send some flunky who is expendable, you know? Why would you do this yourself?
Crack loose.
No.
Let's keep going.
First you give us Torch. Then, if this one still lives...
He's no fool, is he? Now what?
Now let me loose!
I mean, bring out Torch.
It's a trick! Destroy them!
Of course it's a trick. See, Cobra Commander, this is why you send a flunky.
What the bloody blue blazes is going on?
They're mine.
They're really using the fire battery. Also.
What's going on? I don't know, but it looks wonderful. Film it!
Just how do you plan to get out of here?
Panavision camera?
With them?
Sky Strikers!
Yo.
They're behind us.
Real Sky Strikers, I guess. Obviously, they're firing real weapons, so it must be real.
This is great!
Oh. There goes your $15 million fire bat.
Destro, get me out of here!
Very well. Follow my signal.
This way! We must escape!
Follow them!
Hey!
So, I'm a little confused. Okay, yeah, everyone, I guess, these are all just real Joes. All the actors have fled, presumably. Oh, they're destroying all the sets. One day, we've got to get a Western, a GIJoe Western, right? There's got to be a Western episode. The old saloon.
Nice work. Now he'll slip out the back.
That's true. And what's out back? Rome.
I saved a customer.
You don't gotta be mean about it, Destro. You don't have to, like, be such a mean girl, like, I don't care about you at all. Only your money.
You've topped yourselves. Now you haven't just wrecked a movie. You wrecked an
No, the director's gonna be thrilled.
But isn't it great? I got it all on film!
I'm really
The G.I.
looking
Joe
forward
story.
to finally seeing this.
Is this man's Chinese?
Thank you all for coming. I've worked long and hard on this film to achieve nothing less than total authenticity. But this achievement would not have been possible
They're all in
without the
tuxes?
cooperation and support of some very special people. My mom and my dad.
Mom and Dad? What about us? Why?
Easy, sailor. Get a grip.
Let me at 'em.
He's just ready to fight at the drop of a hat.
Boy, down.
Oh. Ah, that's the end. Oh. Sometimes you're watching and you're just like, I wish it would just keep going, you know? Oh, okay. We'll wait till the end of the credits and then we can talk about it. Okay, everyone. That was Lights, Camera, Cobra, Season 1, Episode 19, GIJoe, A Real American Hero. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I thought it was really a lot of fun. Really quick-paced episode. Lots of fun sort of like Hollywood shenanigans. Honestly, I could use more of that. So I guess let's start with the setup. It's interesting. I don't know that you would need like 10 advisors from the Joe team. And probably, you know, they would be there for longer than a week. But also, like, the reality of this situation is pretty questionable from the get. We weren't really asked any specifics. We didn't really get much of a details around, like, well, what's the plot line here? What's happening here? Maybe it's a little close to home, you know? Like, I don't know. It's like I was saying at the beginning, it's kind of like that weird metafiction of like in the Logan movie where they had the X-Men comic books, you know, like to all the families of people in this universe who have like been murdered by Cobra, do they want to see a fun popcorn dramatized version of the Joe versus Cobra storyline? What about all the children who go to school scared that, you know, the world's going to end because Cobra's going to unleash, you know, killer bees next week or whatever? It seems like it may be too real a situation to make a Hollywood film out of. It wasn't necessarily taking itself too seriously. But then again, I guess that is what exactly what the director called for. He was calling for more authenticity to the project, which I guess is even like at the end, that's what he claimed, right? Of course. This would be one of those crazy behind the scenes true Hollywood story kind of scenarios where they're like, is it true that it was a real battle that you filmed for the third act of this movie? And yes, it is true. Okay, so let's talk about the Joes that we got here. I think the highlight has to be Shipwreck. His antics, I understand why they might be grating to some. But as I mentioned during the episode, I find Shipwreck honestly like pretty charming. I like that he's a rogue. I like that he's rough around the edges. That he's the kind of guy who's going to crack wise and possibly start a bar fight and definitely hit on your girlfriend. That's like what I want to see out of my cartoon heroes. I do think that Dusty and Blowtorch were not wasted, but like they had such minor parts in this episode. It's kind of unfortunate, especially Blowtorch. Like, it's great to hear the accent and his he had a couple of lines, but like, I don't know. Recondo as well, to be honest. Like the Recondo and Dusty stuff, I like those characters a lot. Don't get me wrong, but and it's not that I didn't like any of the stuff. Like the Dusty and Recondo sequence of them, that whole part with them in the desert and the coyotes and them, you know, doing the race against Zartan, all of that stuff probably could have been cut out. Like, I probably would have excised them from the story, even though I really like those characters and I liked those sequences. I don't know that they necessarily were essential to the overall plot. And I do think that there were too many Joes in this episode, as evidenced by the fact that they kind of wrote Dusty and Recondo out of the episode, for the whole second act. The really unfortunate thing, I think, in terms of the characterization here is what I was saying about CoverGirl. I would really like to see the women of GIJoe be more sort of kick-ass, badass at all times. And I don't think a woman's going into that scenario if she's not ready to, like, throw a punch, drink some shots. Like I would think that they would be more ready to roll, like ready to rumble than Shipwreck. I'm just trying to think of think of G.I. Jane. There was a movie called G.I. Jane starring Demi Moore in, I don't know, the late 90s, maybe mid 90s. It was like a big deal. And it was about a woman in the in the US military, and she had to be both like exponentially better at like the at all of the sort of like the being a competent soldier stuff, and better at, and like willing to like throw down with the guys, just to get accepted. Like, that's the story of women in most like professional sort of settings, that they have to just the requirement is that they're just better than everyone else to even get there. Other than like Lady J, because we always seem to get her doing some flirting with Flint, both Scarlet and CoverGirl have oftentimes come off as a little sort of mother hen nagging, maybe, straight and narrow, kind of like, keep these silly boys on the right track. I don't like that. I don't want to see that again. I want CoverGirl to be like at the bar drinking the guys under the table. I want like Marion from Indiana Jones. That's what I want. I find that very appealing in my heroines as well. Like to see Zartan, like to see the Dreadnocks. I thought that Cobra Commander was once again a little bit stupid in this episode. But, the villains, there was a couple of really nice moments. The Dreadnocks, during their London bank heist, just like stopping in the middle of the heist. Cobra Commander being seen without his hood on by Destro. I thought that was a great beat. I have a feeling like we can't take every single little element in the show into like this is like locked in stone continuity, because I don't know that that's going to come back, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to note it down, and then we'll see if that returns. Overall, though, I think a very, very strong episode. I really liked it. I liked the tone, like a great balance between sort of action and silliness. And the regular people, like the director, were just absurd. I wanted more. I wanted more of this kind of like fun action. Right now, I'm going to step away for a minute, but I will be right back with trivia, tropes, and takeaways. Just give me a minute. Okay, hey, I am back. This is the portion of the, analysis where I've done a little bit of research. I've stepped away, and now I am back. I've thought about it a bit more, but also I've looked on the wiki fandom, and I've sort of thought through the episode. I've been using a sort of episode tracking document to keep all this in line. If you're interested in that, there is a video that explains what this is all about over on the Patreon, but it doesn't matter. I just wanted to mention a few sort of trivia notes and things that we should sort of take, like just things that it might be of interest that I noticed sort of thinking through the episode, or I read online. So the director in this episode, his name is George Landisberg. Obviously, Jonathan Landis, or John Landis, was like a well-known director who would have been famous in 1984 when this episode came out. He would have already done the Blues Brothers and Animal House and Kentucky Fried Movie. So, like, I assume that that's sort of where the Landis in Landisberg comes from. So interestingly, this episode, as I mentioned, was written by Buzz Dixon. He had a character in a previous episode called Hector Ramirez, who he created as a reporter character in the 20 Questions episode, who appeared in other shows that Buzz Dixon worked on, like in Humanoids, for example. George Landisberg, this director, also appears in Inhumanoids. He might have a different name, but he also appears in Inhumanoids. Maybe this is just sort of the tropes of like, it's a director, but kind of an interesting little tidbit I thought there. We had actors playing Duke, Cobra Commander, Snake Eyes, and Gung Ho all appearing on screen, which is funny because it makes me wonder, like, oh, in this world, like, do people know who Gung Ho is? Maybe Duke, like, he's the head of GIJoe, but very interesting, and also sort of like tied into like what I was saying about like, how do people in this world feel about GIJoe? Like, maybe they love them and they're heroes and whatever, but like also like, is it cool to make a movie about Cobra who possibly have like killed your friends and neighbors? I don't know. I don't know. When Zartan is challenging Recondo and Dusty to the race on the ferret, he calls it the Python Cycle. Apparently, the toy of the ferret was called the Python Cycle in production as like a working title before the toy was released. But by the time it came out, they had renamed it to the Ferret ATV. So that's probably why it was called the Python Cycle. It's kind of a cool name, but not what that vehicle is ultimately called. The pop culture references. Of course, I mentioned this during the episode. Shipwreck gives us a meep meep, just like the Roadrunner, as he takes out that coyote, which I think was pretty funny. And then, of course, that James Bond reference, which was from Goldfinger, where where it's like the laser coming up between Bond's legs, and it's like, "Do you expect me to talk?" And he says, "No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die." Of course, here it's "No, Shipwreck, I expect you to fry." That's kind of classic. Notably, they were using, it looked like to me, Panavision cameras. I think it said Panavision on the side there. That base definitely did, in fact, seem like the same base that's been used multiple times, that desert base design, multiple times in past episodes for Cobra. But I guess GIJoe doesn't know where it is, or Cobra just keeps rebuilding that same desert base in different places in the desert. From a story perspective, I think that this was like a pretty original kind of a take. It had some like sort of like tropey bits within the episode, like the Hollywood stuff was very tropey, but in terms of like GIJoe and the breadth of GIJoe episodes, it was like a pretty new take. I loved seeing Shipwreck be again like such a scoundrel and flirty and funny, and like this was a kind of a light and I might say inconsequential episode. I mean, I suppose other than like that sort of sequence where Destro and Cobra Commander have their little tete-a-tete. There's two notes, two sort of character beats with Destro and Cobra Commander that I think are really worth noting. One, of course, is that beginning part where Destro walks in on Cobra Commander eating without his hood on and is like grossed out. And it's, it takes quite a stomach to see me eat, doesn't it, Destro? And then the other one, of course, is where Destro at the end saves him, and it's, "You saved me!" And he says, "I saved a customer." Like, keep that line between your relationships very clear, it seems. But overall, I really liked the episode. Let's look at what tropes there were that I caught, but you guys let me know if you see any tropes down that I missed down below. So let's see. Of course, we have when animals attack with the coyote sequence. Mean Girls. You know it. Destro is not always the nicest to Cobra Commander. Of course, someone gets injured. World landmarks. The Man's Chinese Theater. Well, I guess it's the Grumman's Chinese Theater, but it was called the Man's Chinese Theater at the time. Flirting. Okay, there wasn't much flirting actually in the episode, although Shipwreck is always kind of a flirt. But I did love that little beat where like the producer comes in to get them at the airport, and Shipwreck's clearly been chatting up the gate agent, and she's like had enough of him. There's a bar fight. Someone gets captured. That's Torch, of course, gets captured, and it's a trap, of course, because Zartan and the Dreadnocks have like are able to completely fool the Cobra guys into thinking that yeah, no, we're just part of the crew here. Don't worry, let's have a race, a midnight race. That's normal. You know, it's a silly kids cartoon, and it's supposed to be like a kid's impression of what a Hollywood film set might look like. So I think with all that said, we have to say that this was a pretty fun, if light, episode. Anyway, that's all I've got for now. If you're watching this in real time, thank you so much. I will be back in 2 weeks with another G.I. Joe reaction video. And I think episode 20 is Cobra's Candidate, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I hope to see you then, and I'll talk to you next time. So long, everyone. Bye-bye.